Hello guys, and welcome to my tutorial guide for the game The Surge 2. So I've got a couple of hours into this game and I wanted to highlight what I've learned to save you time, to let you hit the ground running, as they say. Now, the first thing is, the first bit of the game involves you escaping a prison. Follow the on-screen prompts, learn a little bit about the combat, but what I'm going to show you in this guide is everything you might have missed, and just go over it a little bit of detail, but it is still a beginner guide. So I'm playing with an Xbox controller. So what I've got so far, you can see I've got a little bit of gear, I've upgraded some, I've got some implants and so on. I'm going to explain how all of this works. Now, to summarize this game, the mechanics of this game, think of it as a Dark Souls clone, but with different elements changed. So for example, this med bay is equivalent to the bonfire. You come to a med bay in order to apply your tech scraps, think of them equivalent to souls basically, to level up, and you can also assign points to health, stamina and battery efficiency. Battery efficiency is used for your injections and ideally for healing. I'll show that in combat in a sec. When you're looting around the game, you will get these metal parts. As you saw what I just did, you can disassemble them and it will add to your tech scraps. And what I recommend as well, whenever you're next to a med bay, bank your tech scraps if you're not going to use them, because the way it works in this game as well, if you die, you drop your tech scraps. If you don't get back to them in a certain time, it's usually about between 2-3 minutes, then you lose them forever. And what you can also do with the tech scraps, you can use them to buy upgrades for your gear. So when you kill enemies, you can get recipes. As you can see, I've got a couple of armor sets. So far I've got 3 pieces of the scavenger set and I've got 3 pieces of the Volta set. They drop randomly when you kill mobs, depending on which part of the body you cut off, which I'll get to later on. Now, I've crafted these using materials. I'm constantly picking up materials, and I've also upgraded them as much as I can. There are some more upgrades I could do, but you need to be selective about what to actually upgrade and not to upgrade and so on. So you can see here I've got materials, the materials required to the upgrade. I've also got the money. You can see at the bottom left it says cost of 1,080. I've got 2,200. So let me upgrade. You have to hold the button. Okay, it's upgraded it. Cool. So I've upgraded my arm piece. Now you have to make the choice between upgrading your gear or updating yourself. Try and find a nice balance, and also where you're going to put your points into for health, stamina and battery efficiency. I personally put them equally between all of the stats, just for the sake of it. Now if I quickly show you combat, we'll go over how you cut off different elements. It sounds gruesome, but it's needed. Now also what happens, as per, let's say for example Dark Souls, when you visit a med bay, all monsters respawn. So in theory I could, for example, kill this guy that's kneeling over there, come back to the med bay and respawn him if I want. So one thing that you could easily miss, if you want to target R3, you can target them, and to target different parts of the body, you have the left and right arm, and you also have the head. You need to hit a direction on the R stick after you've locked on. So for example, if I want to target his left arm, I need to press left. There you go, you see it's target left arm. Or if I want to target the right arm, right. The head, like that. Now, the reason why you want to target different parts of the body is if you want different parts of the bits to cut off. So for example, let's say he's using a weapon you really, really like and you would like to use it yourself. So for example, I got this crazy looking axe by doing just that from a monster in the game. What you do is you target whichever arm he's holding the weapon in. So let's assume it's the right arm, okay? You keep attacking it. So let me attack his arm. Oops. Sorry, some stuttering. Now, when the prompt pops up, make sure to actually hold it. So let's try and do that again, and let's hope it doesn't glitch like it just did. So basically, if you want to farm, let's say for example this mob drop the weapon you want, but he didn't drop the weapon for you. You could go back to your med bay, you could reset, and you could get it. This weapon is crazy, by the way. So now, one thing to notice as well, you see he's got 2 health bars, the red one and the purple one. The red one is obviously his health. The purple one is kind of like a... You can see that now it's flashing. It's kind of like a stagger gorge. So when it's flashing, it means that he can do moves uninterrupted without being interrupted. Okay. So I didn't do the finishing move. I didn't cut off anything. So he will just drop normal gear. You get basically more gear if you finish them off with a combo. So, and one thing that is for sure, you should not, for example, let's say target the head and then target this arm and then target that arm and so on if you want to actually get a combo. You need to be consistent. So let's say, for example, I want to cut this guy's head off. From the whole time, you should be targeting the head. And if you want to switch target, by the way, you have to press LT after you've locked on. So you've got LT is what lets me do it. Okay, so let me say I'm going to go after this. I want his head. Okay, so I'm going to go after his head. So I'm only attacking his head. Okay, so he died too quickly. But if the prompt came up to attack him, to hold X, then I would have. Now, one thing you can also do as well, if you approach slowly from behind, very slowly, just walk and get close, you see this red indicator on his back? That means you can get a back stab and you can do a massive amount of damage to him. So, just like that. So, he barely even had a chance, and I cut his head off as well. So, I really destroyed him by approaching him slowly. Now, like I said, in this game, it is very, very tough. It is basically like a Dark Souls. So, do not underestimate how much damage you can take. And also as well, pick which weapons suit you well. Do you like slow hitting attacks? Do you like, for example, quick weapons? Okay, so you see, I wanted to cut off his arm, so that's why I target his arm to begin with. Now, what you can do is, with the weapons, you can go into the menu, you go to your gear, you see I've selected the weapons. Now, you can toggle your favorites, so you can see here, X, toggle favorite. What that means is that when you quick switch between them, it will switch between your favorites. So let's say, put that one in and get rid of that one. Okay, so when you press up on the D-pad, it will only scroll between the ones marked as favorite. Okay, so let me go back, gear, let me get rid of that one and put this one again, right? And then you can see it only is targeting these weapons, which is really useful. Like, it's really important to know which weapons you have available to you at the time. Now, one thing to notice as well is that at the very bottom of the screen, you have these 3 hotbars. You've got the red plus, obviously means your health. The green below that is your stamina. Below that is actually your battery. So, and it charges up. What you can use a battery for is for your injections. So, for example, you can see right next to the hotbar, to the bottom towards the right, it says B to use the injection, but you can only use it if you have a battery. So let me show you how that charges up. So let me find someone to attack. I think there's someone here. No, not him. Him. Okay. So you can see how the electricity is charging up. Okay. Now, I'm using B because it allowed me to heal a little bit. Now, I could probably show you a better example because you might have missed what I did. So let me go here. So for example, this blue item, this will give me battery charge up, okay? So let me pick it up. So you see I've now got 2 bars of the battery. I can press B and you can see it's my injection, it's healing me. I can press B again every few seconds and it's healing me. Now the thing is with this battery charge up is that it will eventually expire. So if you don't use it, then it won't stay there forever. Later on, you can get more talents and more gear and more whatever that will allow you to upgrade your the battery efficiency. So that is one of the stats you get when you go to the med bay, is battery efficiency, so that you can effectively do the injection more often. So you can see now it's expired. So like I said, the battery efficiency doesn't stay there forever. Now the other thing to know as well is how to do other things in the game. So if you want to run, hold A. You can see it lets you run, and then but it does use stamina. So do note how it's taking your stamina bar is going down in certain situations. Also, if you want to jump, press down the L stick. So in combination, this is how you sort of run and jump in case it's needed, in case there's any platforming that you need to do, because there are some bits in this game which do require that. It does require you to run around and jump and things like that. Now you can see here that you'll find in the game a lot of these doors to go back towards your med bay. So it's trying to do you a favor later on to get you back to the med bay as quickly as possible. So try and learn out the layout of the level. Remember, when you use the med bay, it's like using a bonfire in Dark Souls. It will respawn all the mobs, so beware of that. It doesn't mean don't use it, it just means that just beware. It will restore your health, it gives you a chance to do upgrades, but it will also restore the mobs as well. And yeah, so I think, guys, that's a good way to start for a basic tutorial. The general advice is, if you want to have a chance of getting the enemy's weapons, you cut off the arm which is holding the weapon, which is usually their right arm. If you want other upgrades and components which will upgrade your gear, then cut off or attack the body, or the non-weapon arm. If you want recipes as well, maybe cut off the head. So, but cutting off different parts of the body matters in this game. It matters a lot, and you will find a good way of a good balance to it. So as I said before, right stick target, and then check which direction you want to go for. So down for body, the different arms with the direction left and right, and then the head. Okay, so that's it. So that's my basic tutorial for the Surge 2. If you have any questions about the game, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll try my best to help you. I'm also obviously going through this game myself. I've been having a hell of a time. I said I'm a couple of hours into the game so far. I highly recommend this game. It's very, very fun. It's very challenging, to say the least, because you'll have different types of mobs which they're more and more challenging as you go along. So for example, soon into the game you face mobs that have a shield. To deal with the shield, you have to hold your attack, so you see, and then when you hold it, it does a lot more damage, enough to break a shield. But take note of the timing, that it only holds it for like what, 3 or 4 seconds, and those mobs that have the shields, they tend to jump at you, so be ready to dodge. So jump around, dodge with A, and so on. If you want to block, you hold LB. Okay, so that's your block. But generally in these sort of games, I tend to dodge rather than block. And also as well, RB is quick attack, RT is big attack. So yeah, so that's it. So that's all I can tell you right now about the Surge 2. Anyway, guys, if you liked that video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. You can watch a random video over there. You can watch the latest upload down there, or you can click down here to subscribe. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.